we live in a world that's pretend. Most people live in an entirely reactive state. Dentists suffer unnecessarily, actually. Comfort is where growth is. And I strongly disagree with that. Because light is emotion, I have faith in humans. I have faith in humans.
Well, Richard, thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure.
I've known you since my foundation year, so that's about 14 years ago now. I can't remember if we actually met the first time I saw you speak, but it was during my foundation year.
It was at Centre Parks.
It was at Centre Parks.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah.
You were wearing red trousers. That's my memory of you.
Good.
Fashionable at the time.
I would have put them back on today.
We're in navy today, but that's a strange memory that I plucked out.
Yeah, they're meant to be memorable. It's a military signature.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But at the time, I think resonated with your presentation style, with your attitude to dentistry, and over the many years since then, I've been constantly struck with the similarities in our attitude. I'm seeing this primarily through social media. Unfortunately, we've not had a chance to spend much time in person together.
We've got it now.
This is it. But certainly the narratives and the conversations that you presented on social media and continue to do so in a very casual way really resonated with me across lots of different disciplines. And I want to try and get into as many of those today as I can do. Even just in our opening conversation, we've gone down a route of functional medicine and biohacking, if you want to call it that. I'm interested to know which of these terms resonate best with your own self image. Is it consultant? Is it educator? Is it biohacker? Is it philosopher? Is it father, as we discussed before?
Yeah.
Is it all of them?
I don't know, Simon, is the honest answer. I guess what you mean, my primary role in life is a father. Yeah, definitely. My sons are my world. But in terms of my professional life, I am very into, the way I conceptualize it is human flourishing. And so I am into human flourishing. I love our species. I think life is incredible. I think life is short. I think every second matters. And I can't stand wasting time not living a full and complete life. So for me, that means if you're doing education, you do it as well as you can possibly conceptualize yourself doing it. If you are looking at medicine, you try and lean in heavily to that preventative concepts for human flourishing. Like, everyone feels that prevention is better than cure, but most people live in an entirely reactive state. You don't get the reward for the prevention. You can't sell prevention. Like, if someone's got a headache, I can sell them paracetamol. But trying to sell someone a micronutrient they may need 20 years from now, nobody's really interested. So we live in this sort of reactive state, and I will die on the hill of trying to encourage human flourishing. And so professionally, that's for patients, that they get amazing outcomes. I don't think we're proud enough of our profession as we deserve to be. I hope we get to talk about that, because I think you're very proud of what you do and the people you work with and have helped along the way and everything they can achieve. I think we should be massively proud of it. And I think dentists suffer unnecessarily, actually. I think they do. And I want them to flourish. I want them to not suffer. Like, I've trained loads of dentists over the year, to specialists, to consultants, to GDPs looking to get a diploma or some enhanced training. And you see them suffer. Just before I came here, I was sitting outside on the bench at the end of your road here, Simon, and I got a message on our forum lounge, and it's somebody has had a separation inside a tooth, an endodontic instrument, and they've left me a message, and I gave a message, but I can hear their emotion. I know they're suffering, and they didn't do it on purpose. This is one of the most diligent dentists you'll ever meet, and she's in pieces, and yeah, she's suffering, and she's probably got the emotions of guilt and shame and worry and anticipatory anxiety, all those things. So I'm very into flourishing rather than suffering, more than anything else.
Yeah, I love it. And I definitely want to get into all of those emotions, because I think, as you say, the prevalence of stress, burnout, anxiety, addiction, mental health issues in our profession are still staggeringly high. The occurrence of suicide in our profession is still sadly very high.
It's ridiculous.
And I think there's lots that can be done, lots of simple stuff, as well as lots of more complicated stuff. But I think foundationally, we need to work as a profession to really improve the foundations first and then see where we're at from there.
Yeah, I think it's a big task, isn't it, improving those foundations? Because for me, that I think it happens at 18. You know, I think when you first go to dental school, that's where you can get inculcated, and people need I think you need comprehensive training from day one. Comprehensive structured pathways to, you know, understand. You get trained in dentistry, but you don't get trained in everything you need for dentistry. You know, you're a competent dentist probably, and you do your foundation year, and you know, then acquire more skills. But there's so much more to it, and I don't think it's taught. I really don't think it's taught. I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, they're very keen to teach us on the clinical foundations around dentistry, i.e. physiology, pharmacology, all of those basics that tier up to the more specific clinical skills that we have to learn. But they don't look at the whole human. Maybe they don't feel that that's their role.
Do you know, I mean, I know you and I talked about it informally before we came in. If I say, so one of my favorite things I say to a group of dentists, who's met a patient you really, really, really don't like? I'm not going to use the H word, but I say that you don't like. And the whole room put their hand up.
Yeah.
And I say, now, was it the teeth? And it's not the teeth. And I say, so what was it? And it was them. It was the mind. And for me, understanding the fundamentals of how humans think and behave, and why somebody comes in and is perhaps that way with you and makes the whole consultation or treatment so difficult, so challenging. I think that's the biggest stress that we have in dentistry. I think that's what gets under the dentist's skin.
And is that, I've heard you talk about the term emotional intelligence. Is that where you think that part fits in?
Yeah, I think so. I think so in terms of it being like an umbrella term for emotional intelligence. Really is your ability to first of all know yourself, which is impossible to do completely and is an eternal journey. And so, but secondary to that is to know other people. You can't know other people if you don't know yourself. And, you know, the Oracle at Delphi said, above all else, know thyself. And knowing yourself, but that's hard. That's really, really hard, because it means facing the reality of what it means to be a human. And we live in a world that's pretend, Simon, that's a pretend world, that I'm always smiling, I'm always happy, everything's always good. The highlight reel on social media, it's a lie. Anyone that says it's not a lie is lying twice. And, you know, you could look at Alexander Solzhenitsyn's work. The line of good and evil runs through the heart of every man. So self-awareness, knowing yourself, is knowing you're good and what you're not always good at, what you're not, where you might consider yourself not good or even bad. You know, the shadow self, as Carl Jung would call it. And that lives inside everyone. And I'm not trying to be mean to anyone, but you have to be willing to see that in yourself. And if you can see it in yourself, if you can't see it, it's going to control you. If you can see it in yourself, you at least have agency to see it, maybe do something about it and improve yourself. I think that's the fundamental part of human development and emotional intelligence, is to know yourself. And then if you can see that and be honest about it, you can at least be much more accepting and visible of it in other people. And then you can see why somebody comes into you and gives you a hard time, gets under your skin, and you can know where they're coming from. And it makes you much more able to relate to them, maybe build bridges where there weren't bridges before, or even realize if it's not going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, there's no dark without light, is there? And I whenever I think about something like that, I like to think about someone that cuts you up in the traffic.
Yeah.
And whenever someone's cutting you up in the traffic, they're a dick.
Yeah.
And they're clearly a complete moron and an unpleasant individual, and you want to flip them the finger or shout at them in the car or something like that.
They're a bad person.
And then when you do it, you're in a rush. You've got to get somewhere. You need, and so you have to get in front of them.
Well, you're tired. Yeah, absolutely. That's called the fundamental attribution error, and it is literally that. It's literally you ascribe wrongness in other people to their character and rightness in yourself to your goodness, and wrongness is an exceptional circumstance. Yeah. People run on scripts, and like everyone has a few fundamental scripts which you and I can't get rid of. They're going to be there forever. And the first script everyone runs on is there's only like 3 or 4. The first one is I'm a good person. Everyone believes I'm a good person. They do, and that includes me. And you like to think of it, but I've cut people up.
Yes, well, everyone has, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
My mind's whirling with different directions that I want to take the conversation in now. I think I'm going to go with the one that first came to mind. You mentioned the shortness of life earlier on in the conversation, and I wanted to double click on that point because it's something that's always front of mind for me. And again, we spoke before the call about the talk today about how important being a father is, and how you were saying how aware you are of the short time that you have with your kids still at home. That's something that I talk about to young parents all the time. Obviously, I've got 3 kids. For me,
Congratulations.
Thank you. For me, once they're 12, I'm very fearful they won't want to spend time with me anymore.
Yeah.
You may have more experience of that than me with teenagers. But that shortness and fragility of life is something that's front of mind for me quite regularly. And I think that's a superpower because it allows me to really squeeze the most out of life and execute rapidly in my business life,
good for you.
Be as present as possible in my personal life, do things like set up a whole podcast studio in my house so that I can spend more time with my family so I don't have to travel. Thank you.
They can't see the rest of this. It's impressive.
But as you were saying earlier with regards to darkness and light, every good thing has a counter, maybe not a bad thing, but it has a negative. And for me, fear of death is something that is front of mind quite a lot as well.
Okay.
And I'm interested to know where you lie on that because you seem like someone that has considered a lot of the big questions in life. And there's probably not a bigger one than that. So it's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, okay. I mean, what a question. Yeah, so listen, thank you for the question. Thank you for your candor as well. I do think about it. I don't have a fear of death. I definitely have a fear of not being alive or not feeling alive. I don't fear death. I don't want to die, but death is an inevitable. And if it comes, I'm gone. And if I'm here, then it hasn't come. So I'm not scared of that, but I'm scared of not feeling alive. And I don't know if it is my time in the hospital or looking at philosophy and various other things. And you will know the Latin phrase Memento Mori, and all of so many pieces of classic art have a skull in it. And the reason you have a skull is Memento Mori, it's remember death. And what they were saying with remember death is don't forget to live, okay? Because there's an end point. And I guess there's 2 things. I was looking at Elon Musk in his early days, and there was a quote about him, and it just said that even he can't buy 1 second. So it doesn't matter what you've got or where you are, you're not going to get 1 more second. And so so each and every second is therefore precious. And then Simon, working in the hospital, I'll tell you a quick story, which is terribly sad, and I'm not bringing it up because of children, but I saw a lot of people die. And I'm not saying any of them deserve to die, but if you see somebody who's 95, there's a sort of conciliation,
a fairness.
And their state of mind was I always found them to be at peace.
Really?
Almost. Yeah, and at peace and with nothing else to lose. And I perversely would really enjoy those conversations because they had nothing else to lose. But I remember in particular an 11-year-old girl who had a fatal, an incurable tumour. And the tumour was behind her nose and it had taken her eyes. She couldn't see. And she came in with her father who was hiding his emotions. I'm sorry to bring the mood down, but for me, this is precious and on the side of flourishing rather than misery. And the tumour had pushed her palate down. And so her occlusion had changed and it was quite uncomfortable. And they said, well, listen, let's send you to the restorative consultant, see if there's anything that could be done. And sadly, there was nothing that could be done for this young girl. It was just the state of this tumour, and she didn't have too long left. And she said to me, would you write a letter to my mum saying you're going to put braces on me just to make a joke? So this 11-year-old girl who knew death was coming for her soon was trying to make her mum laugh. And that to me is beautiful. And that is the 1 second, 1 moment grab. And I think, I would grab that moment and think that's an incredibly precious moment. And this poor 11-year-old girl, no hair, no eyes, was teaching me a lesson. She was giving me a lesson. And you think, well, remember death. Don't fear it, because she wasn't scared. She just wanted to make her mum laugh.
Yeah.
And I love that. And so
amazing.
I'm more life, and every moment in life is beautiful. That's for me.
Well, it's interesting if you hear about the Bhutanese, the people of Bhutan.
Yeah.
constantly reported as one of the happiest countries in the world,
Yeah.
they have a completely different attitude to death than we have in the Western world. They embrace it. They bring it front of mind all the time. I believe whenever anyone dies, they get cremated, and it gets made into sort of a pyramid type thing, which is scattered all over the country.
Wow.
And so on every corner, you're reminded of death. And their focus is again that same point. Just
So do you think, does that precipitate gratitude in them? Do you think then gratitude?
I think so, yeah. But also, like if you, I always, I mean, there's loads and loads of Greek mythology talking about someone that gets something that they want every single day. If you were to go to, I think there's a story of when you go to a casino, and if you playing blackjack and you win every single hand,
boring,
but every single day for the rest of time, you won't enjoy that winning anymore.
Yeah.
And so the shortness and the fragility of life is by its nature the reason why it's so special and enjoyable.
And that is the challenge thing as well, isn't it? You know, because if you win every time, there's no challenge. There's nothing. Yeah, you're quite right. There's a couple of Greek myths on that. I mean, the story of Tithonus, when his demigod wife said, "I want him to live forever," and he just grew old, but didn't have anything. You know, he was just this withered thing into nothing. And there's that other great story which really resonates with me, with a criminal, and it's extrapolated from Greek mythology. A criminal who is in a shootout, and he's an awful person. He's a drug dealer and doing all sorts of terrible things to people and hurting people. And there's a shootout, and he dies, and he wakes up in a bed, and next to him is the most beautiful woman he's ever seen in his entire life, and everything he wants is his to be given on a whim. And she says, "Whatever you want is now yours. You're in the afterlife. Everything you want is immediately yours." And so he does whatever he likes in this situation, and says, "Have you got a friend?" And so whatever else is going on. I hope I can say it on your podcast. And then before he can say, "I'm hungry," the food he absolutely wants appears. And before he can say, "I'm thirsty," the drinks he wants appears. And this goes on all after. And then he says, "I want to go to the races," and every horse wins. And then he thinks, "I'm hungry again," and that food's immediately there. And this goes on day after day after day. And he starts thinking, well, there's nothing here. There's nothing to me. There's no challenge, and everything. And now I want 3 girls, or I want a brunette or whatever. And it's all immediately there. Everything he wants is at his whim, and it drives him insane. And he turns to the first girl after enough time and says, "Look, I'm in the wrong place. You should have sent me to hell." And she said, "Where do you think you already are?" Yeah. It's that. It is that. The obstacle is the way. I know you study the Stoics as well.
Yes, I mean that's a great book. If anyone hasn't read "The Obstacle Is the Way" from Ryan Holiday, it's one of the few books that I've read many times.
Do you think there's? Do you mind if I ask you a question? Because I think we have created a certain aspect of society where we have taught people that comfort is the way. And that comfort is where growth is. And I strongly disagree with that. And that goes back to that emotional intelligence thing. It's the most uncomfortable thing you can do is look for your own shortcomings and faults. It's so uncomfortable. It's terrifying. So much so that people won't even do it, or they'll pretend to do it. But that concept, I think we have created a world where being comfortable is celebrated and the way to strong emotional and mental health. And I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it's quite the opposite. Well, I mean, I think there's a whole book called The Comfort Crisis on this very topic.
Yeah.
And certainly, like, for example, on the retreat, I run a
I've seen your retreat. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really good fun.
I've seen you diving in.
We did a bit of wild swimming, yeah. But we did 2 of them, and at the start of the retreat, just as an icebreaker and as a way of us getting to know each other, I get everyone to introduce themselves, and we go around the group, and then I just get them to say the thing that they're most proud of in their lives, because I think it's just an interesting, again, self-image thing, and it's a way for us to talk about something that we're positive about.
Yeah.
The interesting thing going around that group twice on the 2 different retreats was that almost without fail, the thing that people were most proud of and that they wanted to bring to light was whatever was the hardest thing they'd had to go through in their lives, whether that be health issues or family issues or something that they've overcome and got to a final goal. And so it's just very interesting that we think we should strive to get away from that. But I think what I find even more interesting is that from a thought experiment point of view, I completely agree wholeheartedly. Hence why I'm in the gym every morning, etc., etc. And I'm always pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. But when you're in the moment, it's very difficult to remind yourself of it's a good thing to challenge yourself.
Yeah,
because it feels horrible.
It does, and you do need comfort.
Yeah.
You do need comfort. Yeah, you're right. And even within the micro, within that macro, if you're doing Bulgarian split squats,
Horrible.
yeah, they are horrible. So the gym is horrible. The split squats are probably the worst thing you can do in the gym.
Yeah.
And you've done 8. And you think, well, actually, if there was a gun to my head, I'd probably do 12. But am I going to do that? You know, it's how deep you go within that individual challenge, that individual moment. And you do need some comfort. You know, you do need comfort. So that brings it into the idea of, you know, do you need a balance? Is there a balance between comfort and discomfort, and how much do you seek out? But I think even then telling people you need to find a balance is a challenge, because it assumes there's a rightness to it. And I certainly haven't found it.
No, I mean, I think as long as it's like your investment allocation. I think as long as you're rebalancing your investments over time. Again, on the retreat, we do what I call a value-based calendar, where I get everyone to talk about what their main values are, look at their historic calendar for the week, and chunk out where they've spent their time, so they actually can reevaluate where they're spending their time, and then look to how they can redistribute that time, which, as you say, is our most valuable asset.
Because if you live your values, you do get that feeling alive, don't you? You know, if you don't live if you've got 4 or 5 core values and not 1 minute each week is spent living them, it doesn't feel
great. Are they really
great.
your values?
No, and they might be something you borrow from other people.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I just recorded a big series on mimetic theory, which is fascinating, where we inherit and borrow values and wants and desires from other people, but they're never really yours. It's just incredible to look at.
I've not heard of that terminology before.
So well, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants with all these things, and a philosopher called René Girard, and it's desire, which is physical or metaphysical. So, for example, if I describe to you 2 watches, watch number 1 is almost never inaccurate by even a second after years of use. It's solar powered, so it lasts forever. It's incredibly well made in terms of technology, super robust, low maintenance, strap lasts forever, and is £100. Or you can have a Rolex. And we have made, so the mimetic desire is everyone, or a Patek Philippe, whatever. Maybe you say Rolex is for whatever, but I've come up with watch. But
I've got a Rolex on
yeah. But and there's nothing wrong.
I need to learn this one.
But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Because we are fundamentally a social species, and because we're a social species, we borrow desires. So the concept of a Rolex is that we have made this collective decision that this is of value. And it may not be at the individual level. And we do it for cars, and we do it for wants, and we do it for relationships, we do it for people. But the true physical desire is in the quality of the thing. So imagine you've got an 18-year-old who says, I want to be a dentist. That has to be metaphysical. That has to be mimetic. It can't, because they've never been a dentist. They've never actually done it. All they've done is see the lifestyle and the attributes and the trappings that other dentists have, and they have said, wow, that person looks like this. I think I want what they want. And we have this big collective concepts of mimetic desire. The trouble is, a bit like your values exercise, you clearly do so well at your retreat, is if you spend your life, time and effort trying to get something you don't truly want, but you think you want, it's a borrowed desire, it might become a desire, but it might stay borrowed. Then when you achieve it, there's an emptiness and there's an anxiety, because you're also then going to be competing with people who it is a true desire, and there's no way you'll keep up.
Interesting.
René Girard's work is just captivating. It's absolutely captivating.
As a modern cosmetic dentist, I'm always looking for tools, techniques and technologies that I can bring into my practice to have a meaningful impact on my patients' oral health. One area that I found frustrating to deal with up until now is early carious lesions. We've always had to monitor them, and inevitably in many patients it ends up with them needing a filling, and we've really not had a great tool to deal with this. That is, until now. What we've recently implemented is Curodont Repair from Vivardis. It's a biomimetic peptide technology that can actually arrest or even reverse early areas of decay, meaning that patients don't need to have that filling that they really don't want. It's incredibly easy to apply and it's suitable for all age groups. So if you'd like to look at Vivardis as an option for minimally invasive care in your clinic, then go to www.professional.vivardis.com/contact point. That's professional.vivardis.com/contact point for 10% off your first case.
So how do you practically implement that into your life in a way that ensures that your goals are your own, and that when you do get there, wherever there is, I don't necessarily think you should be trying to get to a specific location,
No.
but when you are moving in the right direction,
Yeah.
let's say it's an infinite game, but you're moving towards an internal goal. How do you first find out what that is?
So you've got to give yourself a little bit of space. And I mean, it's a brilliant question, because we're talking about goals and values alignment. And if you've got goals aligned with your values, then motivation comes for free. And people say, I'm not motivated. It's not true. You're motivated all the time, just not to what you think you should be.
Yeah.
But so you have to give yourself a little bit of space, and you have to think, okay, these are my goals, these are my desires, these are my wishes. And it's not, what do I do with them? Why do I have them? It's, where did they come from? So you have to ask yourself this fundamental question: where does it come from? And does it truly align with who I am? And if you can think, well, it came from here, does it truly align? Then you have enough space to see it and realize it. And if you can do that, you've got a chance to realign. But it's that key question, is where did this come from?
Fine.
So where did that actual desire come from? Is it, and if no one else could see, no one else in the world knew about it, would I still do it? That's the key. It's kind of the opposite of social media, which is, let me show the whole world and get validation.
What I think that they think I want.
Yeah. It's that. It is that. It's not what should I want, what ought I want. Is what do I actually want? And am I living a life where I want what I think other people want me to want?
Yeah,
it's that. I know there's a few too many wants.
No, I completely track.
But it's brutal. It's the main source of anxiety. Like anyone watching this suffering from anxiety, it's almost certainly that.
The separation between what they have and what they think they want.
And truly, are you living a life that's aligned with the work you do? Aligned to your values. And are you really going after things that you want, or you think you ought to want? It's that. Is it borrowed desire, or is it actually yours? And I think, just going back to when people are in the last few weeks or months of their life, they don't care about it anymore. They're completely authentic. And they're like, well, I can't go after anything, so I'm just going to be me. And you see, it's not a weight relieved of them, but it's something similar to that. It's of that ilk.
And what patterns, maybe this is the wrong question based on that, because I'm asking you to tell me what other people wanted, but what, did you see any patterns in the focuses of those individuals at that stage of life?
I think just clarity. Well, you mentioned about what people sort of think and say when they're in a clear mind, and I don't think they get any more clear mind there. And you ask people what's most important. So your guy said, what they overcame, they're most proud of their challenges. And if you say to these people what is most important to you or has been in your life, and you'll know this, and should you ask the classic questions? Should you have worked more or less? All of them say less. Should you have spent more or less time with your family? More time with my family. 100%. They all say the same.
Yeah.
It's connections with people. It's love, it's connections, it's time with people you enjoy being with, that they wish they'd had more of, and I wish I hadn't been at work quite so much. Look at us sitting at work here.
Indeed. But at least we're doing something. I think the thing is, if you it's like the man with the winning every day. If you sat at home with the family all day, I think you have to sacrifice something
you do.
In every direction.
You do.
And again, I just think we come back to this same comment of balance, where you need to know what you want, and you need to structure your life around that.
Yeah. And adventure and opportunity, and you're building for your kids, and all those things. Yeah.
But also, one of the things that's most important to me is that my kids are proud of me. Are my kids going to be proud of me if I sit at home all day with them playing Lego? Yeah. Well, probably not.
Yeah.
So
smoking with a box of Krispy Kremes.
Exactly.
Super dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Your kids being proud of you is a big thing. Yeah.
Most likely thing to make me cry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It is a fascinating area. When you look at, I don't think there's much new coming out in terms of philosophy and psychology. I think it's new models and new ideas, and you can talk about emotional intelligence becoming social intelligence. But I think a lot of these ancient philosophers, the Stoics that you know so well, understanding values. Marcus Aurelius taught us all of that, and Epictetus, they all did. And so I don't think there's anything new. It's just beautiful to learn.
Well, the thing I love about Stoic philosophy is that it's thousands of years old, and yet every time I read something, even 2 days ago, I had a business challenge that I was confronting that was really getting to me, and I read a quote from Seneca, which is clearly 2,000 years old, talking about how you shouldn't be striving for. It's exactly what we were just saying. You shouldn't be striving for a life with no problems. You should be striving for the strength to manage them.
Yeah.
I think Bruce Lee had a quote that said the same thing.
Yeah.
This is in the Daily Stoic that I read every morning.
Oh, do you?
From Ryan Holiday.
Yeah, nice.
And then he referenced an American president, I think, who said, "When war comes to my door, it will find me dressed and ready to go." In essence,
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's actually exactly what I needed this morning."
Yeah.
I'm in war, and I'm dressed and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it is that. It is. Yeah, give me the strength to overcome the challenges. Yeah, don't take them away. Yeah, I agree with that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to health, and I've heard you talk about the two things that you think are most important in life, being health and relationships. So I want to talk about both those two things. Let's go into health, because anyone that does follow me on social media will know that I'm in the gym every morning. I like to share that to hopefully inspire others to do the same, because it's probably been the most powerful change that I've made in my life, is waking up early every day and working out as the first thing that I do.
Very good.
And I know it's a big part of your life as well. Has it always been? Is that something that's happened?
No.
Later in your
I mean,
career,
I always loved sport and physical activity and stuff like that. I think you mentioned sacrifices earlier on, and I went down a sort of very academic route and clinical route in the hospital, and as you get time poor, it's hard. So it's always been important to me, but having the absolute rigid structure and knowledge and ability and agency to apply it, it's hard when you're at dental school, isn't it? It's too much social work going on. Things do get in the way, but whenever I could, then yes. And I completely agree with you that having health on your mind helps your mind. I think I don't want to be evangelical about it, and I don't judge anyone for how they live, but it just gives you so much. It gives you so much in terms of, and it's, you can describe it subjectively, but you can measure it completely objectively as well. Every time you contract a muscle, you release a myokine, and if you release enough myokines in your body, your brain improves, and so does your mood, and so does your optimism, and so does your ambition, and so does your long-term planning, and so does your cognitive clarity. So you feel sharper, cleverer, funnier, more charming, more able to talk, more able to think, more able to be calm. And that's all because you moved your body. Movement is medicine. And so having your health dialed in, which won't last forever, again, but appreciating it and using your body is such a precious thing. Do you know, and I think there's a million avenues we could explore here, Simon. And you mentioned health and relationships. I'll tell you another quick analogy that I use quite a lot. That there's I was walking near the hospital when I worked there, and there was a girl on a scooter going by, and she fell off, which is how I got to chat to her. But she was scootering down the hills and then walking up, and and as you do, I'm not judging anyone, and it got us talking about legs and like walking upstairs, walking up escalators and stuff like that. So imagine, goodness forbid, I'll touch wood, you lost the use of your legs. You've been in a chair, say, for 2 years. And people who are in chairs, I know, are as happy as anyone else, but imagine that was you, and I know how physical you are. And then God, if you believe in God, came to you and said, Simon, I can't give you the use of your legs back, but I can for 1 day, a month. And on that day, you've got full strength. So there's no rehab needed. You can dance and you can run and you can swim and you can work out and you can play with your kids. You can do whatever you want. How would you feel the day before your legs came back? Do you know what? Because you've got that today. You've got it today. Like tomorrow, my legs are going to work and I can do all this stuff. And we take it for granted. And so that health, that drive for health and your drive to take care of your body, use your body, cherish your body, I love. And it also improves your mind. You know, the evidence is overwhelming of how efficacious your mind, your brain is monitoring every cell in your body all the time. It's getting feedback the whole time. It knows if it's sick. It knows if you're eating too much processed food. It knows if it's inflamed and you're poorly. But it also knows if you're strong and if you're able and if you can breathe well, even with your broken nose. It knows it can do all those things. So I love the fact that that's part of human flourishing. For me, it's a big part of it. Is exercise your number one thing, do you think? Are you good at the sleep as well?
Am I good at sleep? I can fall asleep very well.
Okay.
And I go to bed at like 9 p.m.
Yeah, same as me.
Because I wake up at 5.
Yeah.
And obviously I value sleep greatly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 3 young kids, so it's not quite as predictable as I would like it to be.
No, and they're too cute to say no to if they wake you up.
Indeed. And they do love to get in the bed with us. But I think I probably don't sleep enough. I would like to sleep for like 8-9 hours.
Solid.
I probably sleep for, I would say on average, my tracker will say I've been in bed for 7 to 8. So I'm asleep for probably asleep for 6 to 7 in reality.
Yeah.
Which I think is less than I would optimally like.
Yeah.
But then again, my evening routine, we sauna every evening. I don't get back from work until 6. I want to spend time with the kids. I want to spend time with Megs. I've got to eat. Yeah. So there's a lot to pack in.
You've got to structure it all, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's quite regimented then.
Yeah, and it's you've got to balance these things out. But I think 6 to 7 is okay.
Yeah.
It's not as optimal as I would like it to be. But
you look well.
I'm trying my best.
My best. Yeah, I agree with you. If I ever sleep through 8 hours, I wake up and I think, wow, that was so nice.
Yeah.
But it's a rarity.
Yeah, I never wake up at 5 normally feeling super refreshed at that first wake up point. Yeah. But I do wake up looking forward to going to the gym, which I think is an amazing habit that I've built. I mean, most people that know me now would probably think that I've always been this way, but I did a degree before I did dentistry at Bristol. I only got into working out just towards the end of that. Before then, I did very little in the way of exercise. So it's not something that's always been a part of my life.
And is it a journey to your gym or is it easy? Because I think that's a big thing for people. I'm big on exercise, people exercising. But I think you've got to make it easy for yourself. Or
I mean, I built a gym in my house.
Yeah, good for you.
So I've got my jiu-jitsu mats down in my garage.
Nice.
And my jiu-jitsu instructor comes to my house at 6 a.m. on a Thursday morning.
Nice.
And then I have a gym which has got a rack and a Peloton and a ski erg.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen that.
One of the best things that I've put in my house. And the same with the sauna. Again, one of the best investments I've made.
Yeah, because you've got to have it. It's got to be convenient.
It's got to be easy. You've got to reduce the friction.
Yeah.
But even, I don't know how you were when your kids were younger as well. I oftentimes have young parents say to me, I don't have time. And like you were saying earlier, you make time for the things that you value the most.
Yeah.
If you're going to work every day and you're not working out, why are you valuing your work and making money over your health?
Yeah. Or the TV. You know, people put the TV on and I say, what are you watching? And I say, I don't know. I'm just going to see if there's something I want to watch. But I think there's a mindset for exercise, you know, that people say, well, I haven't got an hour, so I won't work out. But something is better than nothing.
100%.
20 minutes is better than nothing.
Yeah, and that's always. I mean, look, I'm not always in there for an hour every morning.
No.
This morning, I needed to prep for the 3 podcasts that I had today. I've not had time this week to do as much as I wanted. So I woke up at 4:30 this morning, did some work. Then I still wanted to get in the gym, but Megan needed to get in the gym as well because we both have a passion for exercise. Yeah. Then we had to get the kids to school, so we had to work out who's going to have what time when, who's going to get the kids ready. It's a balance, and it's not easy. But both of us value it equally.
Yeah, good for you.
And even more importantly, as we were describing earlier on, like the modeling and the example that sets for our kids, I think is just invaluable.
100% your kids watch you. They watch you. They won't listen to you, or they'll pretend to not listen to you, but they'll certainly watch you, and they'll see your behaviors, and they will mimic them. It becomes normalized. You know, you're their hero. And if you're the hero and all their neuroplastic programming is happening 0 till 7, you know, so everything, the patterns that literally structurally form in their brains are formed 0 to 7. So they'll see it. And so good for you. Having young kids is busy.
Yeah, it is. But as we said, it's the short to medium term gain, long term gain.
Yeah, for sure.
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 What does your workout regime look like at the moment?
So I'm very lucky that I will exercise every day. So I think there are six big pillars of health, and the top three: nutrition, sleep, and exercise. The other three aren't irrelevant and have veto powers on all things, but those three are the three that I would always start anyone on. And so for exercise, I will exercise every day, and that will mean some zone 2 work, which might just be a rucksack on and walking over hills. It might be some assault bike, your ski erg, something like that. I will give one big HIIT session, and that'll either be a 1 minute on, 1 minute off, super intense, heart rate monitored. So I'm very into you weigh your heart rate, you find out what your 100% is.
Like a Nordic 4x4 or something like that?
Yeah, do a Nordic. I love a Nordic 4x4 and variations on that, that just so everyone knows what that is. It's where you do at least a 10-minute warm-up, and then you'll do 4 minutes with your heart rate over 95%, and then calm down for 3 minutes and repeat that cycle with the 4 on 3 off for 4 minutes. And that I really, really, really enjoy, especially the last session where you can absolutely empty the tank. And there's something about it. I think it's that self-concept. It's like you prove to yourself, I can take my heart rate to 100%, maybe even a little bit more, and just stay there. Just stay in that horrible, horrible, horrible place. And at the end you think, yeah, I did it. And there's a smile on your face. And then I'll do resistance work. So gym weights 3-4 times a week as well. And they are things like strength sessions, which are very simple, 45 minutes, to be honest, squats, deads, and some pressing and stuff.
Yeah.
And then something a bit more athletic. I'm very lucky I get to train some of our local rugby squad boys at my local rugby club, Old Regations. I do strength and conditioning for them.
Oh, nice.
And some of those guys, so there was a guy, one of the young lads who was over last night who plays for Quins, so he's looking at a pro contract.
Oh, yeah. I might have met him. I did the dental checks for all the Quins boys.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice. He's only 16.
Okay.
But he's 16, but he does squat 180 kilos.
Awesome.
For sets of 8. Yeah, he's a strong boy. And I really enjoy that, and I get to do that for my sons as well. So.
What's your view? I know when I was a kid, they were always like, "Don't do weight training too early."
Rubbish.
Interesting.
Just
okay.
rubbish. Absolute
just
rubbish.
Start whenever you want.
Yeah, just get going straight away.
Really?
I mean, they say like your joints would be funny and stuff like it. I mean, it's got to be titrated. I'm not saying like
don't start with 180.
No, don't start. No, and anyone that sees that or hears that, don't think, well, a 16-year-old could do it. This guy is an athletic freak. You can start. So my son started when they were about 11, doing it in a meaningful way, just doing little moves, and then you can push them harder and harder and harder, and it's just progressive overload. It's the same thing as anyone else. Just add weight, add reps, slow the reps down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. My kids will come into the gym and we've got the little 1 kilogram weights, and they'll say, "That's my weight. I'm going to go get on it." But
do a lateral raise with a 1 kilo. Do 1,000 of those and tell me it's not hurting your shoulders.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. So you work out every morning. I mean, let's talk about those other pillars. We talked about sleep already.
Yeah.
And sleep. I mean, I think it's a relatively straightforward one. Very, very important, foundational to everything, but relatively straightforward.
Do you supplement for your sleep or anything? Do you mind me asking?
Well, that was going to be my next question to you. So I do. I mean, I supplement glycine and magnesium. I use the broad spectrum magnesium from BioOptimizers, Magnesium Breakthrough, I think it's called. I mean, I don't notice a huge difference whether I do supplement or not in terms of my sleep quality. With most supplements, I take them because I know the research is there. So my general supplement stack is omega-3 from Bare Biology, glycine, magnesium, sometimes a bit of ashwagandha, sometimes a bit of milk thistle if I've been drinking too much, and then vitamin D with K2 in the morning. Yeah. So relatively simple stuff, but I don't know. Do you take anything else more interesting?
I supplement a lot, actually. I am into supplementation, and I work with a company called Human People. We do a lot of bloods and stuff. So I think the big three you've touched on, like if you're not getting in sunlight, you need vitamin D3.
Which none of us are in the UK.
No. And I mean, it's out at the moment, but, sort of end of March to the beginning of September, you can get it. The rest of the year, you can't. If you have stored some in your fat cells, you will dissolve that fat over winter. If you go into calorie deficit over winter, which we did for millions of years, and now we never do. In fact, we put on weight because it's Christmas time. And but that would dissolve the stored vitamin D. So we did have these sort of circadian evolutionary survival mechanisms. But we have messed all that up with all of our non-circadian living.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, vitamin D, magnesium almost for everyone, and omega-3s. I'm big on those as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, you mentioned Bare Biology, who are a great brand. It has to be a good brand, a proper brand.
With your fish oil, absolutely. I mean, you can get some real rubbish on Amazon.
Yeah, you definitely can, and you really should. You know, there's the International Fish Oil Standard.org, IFOS. Look at your brand and see how it ranks. Make sure it's not rancid or ineffective. So I'm big on those. I do take NNM. I take urolithin A. Yeah, I do.
I mean, I used to take NMM, which for those people that don't know what it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, my very simple understanding here, but in essence, it upregulates your mitochondria, which I think gradually get more ineffective as we get older, and are obviously vital for our vitality. And there are other precursors as well, like NR and things like that. David Sinclair, who wrote the book Lifespan, which is a very interesting book, is a big advocate of it.
Yeah.
I thought that the research was still pretty patchy.
I think it is, and I think it's person by person.
Interesting.
You know, like everything. So if you pick one hormonal problem in the world at the moment, it's declining testosterone rates. And you could look at someone and say, well, you need to take boron and selenium or something like that. But you're not even deciding if that person is suffering from primary or secondary hypogonadism. So you've got to go into the detail of where the problem is and what the issue is. And, you know, that one-size-fits-all medical issue, I think the three you talked about are one-size-fits-all. Everything else below that, I think, is hyper-personalized and nuanced. Okay. So NNM, I think, is responsive to some people. Other people do better with NR. Some people do need urolithin with it. Some people don't. So, and I think there's a degree of subjectivity to it. For me, the thing I look at is definitely perceived energy levels. And I'm very into the mitochondrial medicine. So everyone understands mitochondria, you know, they're cliched, the powerhouse of the cell, but they sit inside your cells, but you can have decrepit ones that sit around doing nothing, limping on, and your body doesn't clear them out. So we need mitophagy, so get rid of those. So I do like the cold exposure, and I know you've got an ice plunge here.
I do.
Why are we not in it, Simon?
Afterwards.
Having the conversation in there.
It's only space for one, so I think me and you squeezing there might be interesting.
Well, okay, I'll go in the sauna and you can be in the cold. So cold is very good at clearing out those mitochondria. It's very, very good at it.
Didn't know that.
And then you want to feed your mitochondria as much nutrition as they need and make your body make new ones. So mitophagy and mitosis, mitogenesis. So we want that mitochondria turnover, and then you want to feed them as much as you can. And for me, with my physiology, NNM works well for that.
So you have a noticeable perceived improvement in energy levels.
Do you know, I do. I'm nervous to say, because I'm as subjected to the placebo as anyone else, but my supplement stack definitely has me high energy. I feel high energy. I'm good at training.
Interesting.
And I can feel on a lot.
And so human people you mentioned. So
yeah.
you do your bloods with them, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's you know, I don't have any affiliation with them, but they're humanpeople.co, and they do a fabulous blood service where the first thing they'll look at is your level of inflammation. And running, you know, if anyone ever comes to me for health advice, I would say, well, I'm going to take your inflammation and drive it through the floor. You need to uninflame your body. And
what's that, CRP? Or?
Yeah, HRCRP primarily, a few other markers as well. And then you look at the causes of inflammation, which include loneliness and lack of connection and lack of affection and, you know, dietary things and stress and, you know, poor sleep is all inflammatory, gut dysbiosis. So we look at the whole lifestyle picture for someone and try and push their inflammation through the floor. And when you do that, everything else just functions better. And so then their energy normally improves. And then most people are deficient in one or two areas when you look at a detailed blood panel.
Like a micronutrient blood panel,
Yeah. But you know, Simon, even if you look at a cholesterol panel, they're just done so badly. You know, people largely go to the doctor, smart people with PhDs in God knows what, and the doctors say there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, and your bad cholesterol is too high, you need to go on a statin. And they haven't even looked at the nuance of the inflammation.
That happened to me.
Did it?
So I had my bloods done recently, to be completely honest with the listeners.
Yeah. I've done mine too.
I went to a local doctor who, like private doctor, that seemed to be sort of in my my thought process in terms of medicine 3.0 and like a much more modern approach to medicine, proactive, preventative, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Had all my bloods done. My cholesterol was high, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I work out every day. My diet is whole food, impeccable. Yes, I have a lot of good fats. I have a lot of avocado, like high quality olive oil, high quality grass fed butter.
Yeah.
I have a ribeye once a week. I eat chicken thigh. Fine. It's on the fattier end of the diet, but all high quality, organic where I can get it, etc. And I was like, I just don't understand. He was like, it must be genetic. I spoke to my parents. They've had all their medicals done and everything. No high cholesterol at all in the family. And I was like, well, I don't understand it. And he was like, well, you should go on statins. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, look, if I have to go on statins, they're fairly low risk and high reward in terms of cardiovascular risk. But I was just quite surprised. And so maybe there is something inflammatory going on that's leading to that.
I don't like statins without a full depth investigation. So they do have some side effects, and they are on the mitochondria.
Interesting.
Yeah, and mitochondria, cardiovascular and neural. And I have seen Pfizer's policy for getting people on statins. And I hope Pfizer don't see this, but they'll have to admit it.
They're actually our next sponsor.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Not if I meet them outside, they're not. Actually, they live near me, or their place is near where I live. So they, and they have a policy of getting people on statins, because if they can get you on statins, the targeted areas where your mitochondria are depleted by the statin use actually will lead to more anxiety. And then you'll typically go to the doctor and say, right, I'm got this odd anxiety, and now you're on 2 meds from the same company, neither of which you needed, and the combination of those 2 can cause endothelial dysfunction. So then you're going to start needing all sorts of other things, including Viagra. So I mean that is their endpoint, and this came from an ex-Pfizer employee. Showed me these documents.
Really?
So if if someone's on a statin, they need to be on a statin. God bless them, and you need to be on the statin, and they are a very valid drug. But I like people to only consider medication if everything makes sense. If everything is lined up, and we said, okay, you've got LDL, which is a bit high, but let's look at the substructures within your LDL. Is it lipoprotein little a? Is it ApoB?
ApoB, yeah.
And then how well is your glycocalyx being formed, which is the slippery lining inside all your blood vessels? And are we doing everything we can to form that? And are we protecting your endothelial health? And are we managing your blood pressure well? And if we're doing all of those things and your endothelial health is still at risk, maybe a statin. Maybe. But if not, don't go on it. And
okay, really interesting.
Yeah, well, we can talk outside this.
Yeah, let's not make this all about me.
No, well, let's do it all about you. If you'd like to go and get changed over there, Mr. Chard, that'd be great. Quick ice bath, and I'll examine you.
Cough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Again, I said I'm not going to make it all about me, but I am going to double click on one of the points that you raised, because it is something that's front of mind for me as I turn 40 this year, which is testosterone levels.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, for making it.
Yeah. Yeah, many people do.
Why did you mention testosterone when we were talking about NMN? Are they linked, or are you just saying in general?
No, because it's on the back of the aging, and as we age, I'm very into like health equality, men, women, children, everyone getting access to expert medical care. And I do mean expert medical care. To qualify for that has to be non-biased, non-sponsored, and preventatively minded. So yes, have the reactive medicine. Like, it wasn't long ago, Simon, that the number one presenting complaint for someone having their first heart attack was death. So that's fulminant failure to prevent. And it's been going. And if you look at something like dementia, that is a disease of the elderly, much more so. Women get it twice the rate of men. It's almost probably 100% preventable. Almost. And we're so bad at it. We're so bad at giving women particularly, but men, that information. And then I see men suffering. So testosterone will decline as you age, as will everything about everything. But as it ages, if you look at female aging, there's often HRT is very, very readily available. But if you speak to most men in their 60s who are suffering the effects, they don't know they're suffering the effects necessarily, and there's no access for them at all to get the equivalent of HRT. So, whatever helps someone at whatever stage of life flourish and feel amazing, that's what I care about. and I see too many people suffering.
Yeah, well, I think the testosterone levels of someone of my age is probably about half of that it would have been of my dad.
Yeah.
And probably about half again of my grandfather.
Yeah. So, and you can get your testosterone levels measured at human people, because it really is about your free testosterone.
Yeah. Again, the nuance of this is so important, because I did have my testosterone checked.
Yeah.
And the feedback that I got from the doctor was, it was sort of meh. It was like, it didn't fill me with confidence in terms of the accuracy with which we were going into the detail of it.
Okay. And do you mind me asking, because the questions I have, if someone have bloods or any intervention like that, it's 2 questions, and they are, so what, now what? Okay, so if you leave there, and I would say, right, he's talked to Simon, and Simon's been given some advice, so what, now what? Tell me exactly what's happening next. And if you don't come out for that, it's not good enough, in my opinion. So you should have actionable points. So they should say, right, you've got this free T level, you've got this sex globulin binding hormone level, you've got X, Y, and Z. This is our strategy, and this is when we remeasure. And that's what you do, just to optimize it.
And that's what they do. Is that what human people do?
Yeah, definitely.
So they analyze. They've got doctors looking into it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll be honest. The guy who runs it is a guy called Jeff Mullen, and he was guys when I was there, going back a long time, and he did ENT at St George's when I was doing Max Fax there, and we worked together for a long time. And so he's an old mate. He's a great guy. He'd be very interesting for you to talk to on here, actually. He's a fascinating guy. I honestly think he's one of the smartest. I'm sorry if you see this, Jeff. I think he's one of the smartest, most informed doctors I've ever met. And, he's so good at just understanding medicine, and he's so into the preventative side of it. So if you say, like, this is my T level, can I have a strategy? He'll give it to you. And, it's really is that hyper-personalized conscious medicine, which I love.
Well, that's what you need to do, right? I mean, you have to take control of your own health.
You do.
You can't rely on anyone else to guide you. I mean, I see this time and time again from family members that have medical issues, and they just accept the first opinion.
Yeah.
I've had it recently with one of my family members where they were diagnosed with cancer, and they were put on palliative care by one doctor. And now they've gone down another route because we pushed on every angle that we could look at, and they're responding really, really well to treatment. Wow, I'm
going to touch really good. I wish them well.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It is. It's really, really tough. And I'm not knocking doctors who they probably act in the best interest, but are they short of time? My belief is the world is run by pharmaceutical companies largely, and they want to make money. And there's only one group they can make money from, and that is scared sick people. Because if you're dead, they can't charge you. If you're healthy and alive, they can't charge you. They want you alive.
They can't
and
patent
sick.
the molecules.
Yeah.
They can't charge you.
Yeah, absolutely that. So they need you alive but ill and scared of getting sicker.
Indeed.
And if they've got that, they've got you.
Yeah. And then you've got the food companies probably working in cahoots with them as well. Anyway,
we're going down a rabbit hole here, aren't we?
I'm going to take it even further now. Let's take it back to dental slightly, but stay on that same vein. Fluoride.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So it's a medication. It's a medication. And if somebody needs medication, then they should use medication. If you don't need medication, I don't think you should have to use it. So fluoride is a wondrous thing. It's a brilliant thing. It's a brilliant medication. It's not one I use. I don't eat sugar. I haven't used it in a long, long time, and I don't have any caries. But if you do want to eat sugar and you are at caries risk, I think fluoride is a fabulous medication for you to have in your life for as long as you need it.
Exactly my thoughts on it.
Do you agree?
I do agree wholeheartedly. Obviously, I have a toothpaste brand myself, which does contain fluoride, because it's very difficult for the consumer on the shelves that I'm on Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Boots, etc., to know that information well enough as you do to make that decision. Yeah. But I wholeheartedly agree with the philosophy and the thought process that goes behind it. I'm always looking to reduce the inbound chemicals into my body and strive to be as ancestral as possible in my life. No cavemen were using fluoride.
No,
we're not deficient of fluoride. We just have a terrible food system that is very, very processed, and that most people don't consider what they're putting into their bodies.
You're 100% right. And you know, even the aurification of eating a Mars bar, it's an exquisite process. You know, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. And people don't know that a bag of Wotsits is carcinogenic, you know, and tomato ketchup obviously is 25% sugar. And, you know, so I'm not knocking it. And if I had to choose between there being only fluoride toothpaste or only non-fluoride, I would pick fluoride because we need it, and we would be full of rampant caries everywhere. And, you know, the number one reason a kid is still hospitalized in the UK is to pull teeth out. And, you know, I've heard some horrible sounds of patients struggling to recover after seeing so many kids have the teeth pulled out. It's so we definitely need it. We definitely need it, and it's a fabulous thing. But it is not self-inflicted, but, you know, that as you say, the food companies.
It's societally inflicted.
Yes, sugar is everywhere.
Yeah,
it is everywhere, and it tastes great.
It does. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. That's the thing with me with Parla. The way that we structured the ingredient deck was, right, this is going to be a premium mass market product.
Yeah.
We have to do ethically what is in the best interests of the public.
Yeah.
What can we remove that's completely irrelevant, does nothing, and is just in there as a filler, or is cheap, or is inflammatory? Let's get rid of SLS.
Yeah,
Let's
well
get rid of titanium dioxide. Let's get rid of all the artificial C1973. I mean, no one even knows what it is.
I don't.
And it's in every single toothpaste. I mean, I've got the number wrong, but that sort of ingredient. Why don't we use natural flavorings? Use as minimum preservatives as we can do. Yeah. But let's keep fluoride in because most people need it.
They do. Do you? Well, I can see with the evolution of your next brand launch is going. Then you're going down the nano hydroxyapatite.
Well, we have micro hydroxyapatite in our pro range already, but alongside fluoride.
Yeah, nice.
I'll be in big trouble with my team if I talk about any new product developments.
Yeah, the camera's off. Don't worry. I mean, you've done really well there. I'll just say again, credit to you on that. When I used to treat at least 2 or 3 days a week just cancer patients, and they would have raging mucositis from chemo and radiotherapy, and you put SLS near those patients,
horrible,
and they are screaming, and you think, well, you're doing that every day, you know, to yourself. So you thank God there's a barrier there protecting you from it, but you don't want that in your body. SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, gone.
Like many of you, aligner treatment is a big part of my day-to-day clinical workflow. And one of the latest bits of technology I've implemented in my clinic to optimize this orthodontic treatment is dental monitoring. Dental monitoring is revolutionizing orthodontic care by bringing patient appointments to their phones. Leveraging clinically proven cutting-edge AI technology, dental monitoring helps me hit the sweet spot between optimizing patient care and treatment time efficiency. You can monitor patient compliance, hygiene, and aligner progress remotely while maintaining regular and professional contact with patients throughout their journey. It really is a big USP. Far better care with far fewer appointments. So if you're interested in joining me and upgrading the aligner journey for your patients, visit dentalmonitoring.com/contact point to learn more and get a special discount off your starter kit. That's dentalmonitoring.com/contact point for your special discount. Back to the show.
Yeah, I mean, that was the easiest decision we could make, really. Saying that, it's quite difficult to work with another foaming agent to get that same mouthfeel experience.
Yeah.
And that's something we've had to work very hard on in all of our products because people say they don't want SLS, but they do want it to feel that certain foamy way, which is quite interesting. But just to double click on the point on the impact of fluoride, because one thing that I oftentimes come up against having this conversation with individuals is they'll lean on the water fluoridation studies, like the one from Harvard talking about reduction in IQ in kids. Interestingly, the ADA just this last week launched some studies, I think, going against that research and saying that there was no negative impact of fluoride in water on neurotoxicity or on IQ.
Yeah.
I've certainly never seen any research on the fluoride in toothpaste having a negative impact on the body.
No.
Although, again, I would always personally try to reduce medications where possible. But have you seen any research? Have I just not seen it? Or
no,
does it have an impact on your pineal gland or your third eye or anything else?
Well, the answer is yes, but that you have to hit a minimum effective dose, and that's incredibly hard to do.
Right.
So toxicity works in that it's not toxic, and you hit a minimum effective dose, and then suddenly it is. So I think we're a long way shy of that. You're going to have to eat tubes and tubes and tubes of this stuff.
Yeah.
I personally, from a moral and ethical point of view, I'm not into mass medication.
Yeah.
So I don't like the idea of fluoridating water. And I have no doubt your kids are going to be sporty. So my younger son was at a rugby tournament this weekend. It was probably 6 hours of playing. He must have drunk 3 gallons of tap water. What dose have you inflicted on my son because you give your son too many Skittles? So I don't want that. I'm not blaming anyone, but I don't agree with mass medication.
Yeah.
If you want the fluoride, you can have it. You can definitely have it, and I think it should be there. So I don't want it in the drinking water though. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, the drinking water in general, I think, is in a dire state. I don't know if you have any reverse osmosis machines in your house. You do. Of course you do. I'm jealous. I don't. I have a Quooker tap that has a filter.
I would have
on
bought
it,
you one and installed it for you. Why should you get my
Have
ice
you got
bath
a water
ready?
too?
It's not. I can't remember what the brand is, but it is a 7-step reverse osmosis. Yeah,
Just underneath the
you just
tap and the thing.
plumb it in between, and it just runs. It's very simple and easy to do. Yeah, water too. That's Bear Grylls one, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I keep on getting hit with the Instagram ads.
Yeah, well, now when this goes out, you're going to be bombarded by them. So.
If you want to sponsor, guys.
Yeah, the algorithm will find you. Yeah, and I'll install it for Simon. So,
okay, let's get back into, I think, professionally.
Yeah.
What you're doing, and obviously the focus of the podcast is on the future of dentistry, and so I want to move into your thoughts on that as well. But you've recently completed a huge project of the new home of Aspire. It's stunning. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It looks absolutely incredible from what I've seen. I've not had a chance to go yet.
yeah, please do come.
I'd love to. Why did you feel the need to create something so different? So I use the term radical. It looks radical in terms of its execution. And then, even more interestingly for me, why do you call it Plato's Cave? Because I've not heard that. I read about it this morning, but I've not heard that before.
So I mean, there's quite a long answer coming, so I hope that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
So I started Aspire nearly 15 years ago to improve patient outcomes. That was the idea. I wanted patients in the UK to get better dental treatment, better dental outcomes. And the way to do that is to give the best level of education I can to dentists. And at the time, that meant hiring venues. And when you hire venues, and then if you get a modicum of success, you get a target on your head. And we had political attacks and economic attacks and website attacks and, all sorts of things happen at Aspire. And then you're hiring infrastructure, and your timetable is very dictated by what you can hire. If you go to hire a conference room in a certain place, they will say, well, we have 5 dates in October 2026. Which one do you want? And that was cloying and controlling a little bit. Bless the people that let us hire them for years, particularly Lundeck. They were, a fabulous group of people. But to be honest, we wanted autonomy. We really, really wanted autonomy. And by that stage, we could see how people were getting the information, but we could get it to them better. And it's worked. That has worked. So we can now deliver. We ironed out all the creases in education and understood how, when people come in, you've got to hold their attention, and then you've got to give them the ability to retain the information and then put it into place. And so everything was designed around that. Now, like the ancients you and I have been talking about, that all came from Plato. And it was Plato's Academy, which was the place of learning. And it was a place of open learning, open-aired learning. And Plato took people in from all over the world, all over Europe, and said, look, come here and let's make, he called it, better citizens, so that you can go back to your town and you have some incredible knowledge, more agency to help people. You get to offer people more. And that was really it. So it gave us autonomy. It gave us a beautiful place to work with really, really good resources. It is stunning to work in there. I have to say that it's a stunning place, and our design team and architect were just out of this world good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
It is lovely. And then we built that, and then we always wanted to have much better live treatments. So we have 6 surgeries upstairs, and they all are equipped with a myriad of 4K cameras. So we can now do consultations with live audio, live surgery, and it goes on a screen that's sort of 7 meters by 3.
It's the biggest one I've seen, I think.
Yeah, it is, and it's, you know,
it's a personal education center.
It's a ridiculous small pixel pitch, so it's genuine true 4K, and everyone can see and hear everything. So again, from that educational impact, it's great. And then we had a bit of space left, so of course we built a wellness spa on site.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did.
What's gone in there then?
So in our wellness spa, we have beautiful showers, beautiful changing rooms. We have an IV drip suite in the waiting area. We have hyperbaric oxygen chambers. We have the most high illuminance red light bed in the world. I have a red light sauna. I have a hot sauna. I have 2 brass monkey ice baths and a cryo chamber. So you can have the full tour.
Well, that is great. Talk to me about the hyperbaric, because that's something that I don't have, and that when I've listened to Brian Johnson speak, he says is the most has had the biggest impact on his metrics out of anything.
He says it's 95% of all of his cellular renewal regeneration. So it's basically that. It's essentially that a human being is alive. So you're not your body, you're your brain, and you're behind those eyes there, and that's you. And that's where it's all happening. And that thing only functions with oxygenated arterial blood. So everything is oxygenated arterial blood. So if we can push a higher concentration of oxygen into you, get it carried in your blood, deliver it to site, get it all of your erythrocytes, then your body flourishes. So whether that is healing, repair, rejuvenation, energization, reduction of inflammation, you're fighting inflammation all the time, let's give you some tools to do it. You go in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And it's you know, you feel like you're on an aeroplane, that's all. But instead of them dropping the O2 content, which is what they do on aeroplanes, we take it right up.
And is it a hard shell one?
Yeah, hard shell.
Wowza, what did that set you back?
A lot. Tens of thousands per chamber.
You've got multiple?
Well, we've got 1 at the moment, we'll have 3 soon.
Because you're using them for patients for surgery recovery and stuff?
Yeah, I will do, definitely. But it's part of... If somebody comes in and says, like, let's say you came in as a client, Simon, you might say, like, I want detox or I want an energizing ritual. And then we would say, well, this is the ritual for energization. And this is where we'll look at your mitochondria, we'll look at your bloods. So we work with human people, they'll do all your bloods. Yeah. We'll take that service, we'll look at your inflammation, we'll drive that through the floor, we'll look at your anything else that you're deficient in. We'll look at any risk factors you've got for disease, but then we'll put you on a program for energizing you, which means we're going to clear out all of your old mitochondria, mitophagy. We're going to feed your new ones as you're forced to do that, ideally with light, that will be, and then a nutritional program. And we'll put you on that and see how you go. And with the 6 pillars of health, you raise one, a rising tide raises all ships. So you push one up and all the other ones go up. So we would use hyperbaric as part of that. And I know you're a rugby fan, and you probably saw Ollie Lawrence. You know, he's a fabulous England player, Barton England player. If anyone doesn't know,
I've seen him as a patient as well.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I few of the England guys around 6 Nations when they don't wear their gum shields. They come and see me.
Amazing. Well, he needs an Achilles shield because he snapped his Achilles, poor guy.
Yes, I saw. Yeah,
and then his recovery
he came back so quick, didn't he?
Yeah, because of the wavelengths of red light and the O2, the hyperbaric oxygen.
Interesting.
It was that forced him back quickly.
Really?
Yeah, and so we have the exact same products that he used.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got a red light panel in the gym actually.
I've seen you working out with it.
It's a red light rising, but I don't know if it's probably not quite as high spec as yours.
Do you know? I mean, any red light is good. But people aren't infrared deficient, but infrared is, you know, you've got infrared and you've got near, mid, and far. The thing about them is illuminance, and illuminance is genuinely how much energy per square centimeter of skin or beyond. And so with a panel, I have, you know, a panel similar to you at home, you're getting some. It's good. Something beats nothing. If you can put someone in a bed, it'll be the equivalent of sort of 5,000 panels, and you're in there for 10 minutes. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if you come and try it, lie down, you'll come out and you'll go, God, I just feel unbelievable.
Oh, really?
You just
so again, yeah. I mean, the red panel's another thing that I'm like, look, I believe in photobiomodulation. I understand the research behind it. I use it. I try and stack it with my workouts because I'm time poor. But I don't notice any difference in terms of my lived experience.
Feels nice though.
Feels nice when you're there, and especially if you can take a moment to actually just sit there and just breathe, then obviously that feels good. But I can't say I feel like my cells are energized when I come out of it. But.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, and that probably is the illuminance, and it's the actual energy, because you're a big guy as well. So you know, you need the energy delivered. It's like I could ripen a banana in the sun, but if it's a really hot sunny day and I leave it there for an hour, it really has an effect. If I do it for 20 seconds in October, it does have an effect, but is it perceived?
Yeah,
It's that. So again,
that's interesting.
yeah, it is. And then we have a red light sauna, which is the same wavelength as light, slightly less, but then very, very hot as well. So, you'll know all about the heat shock proteins and getting your core temperature up.
We love the sauna, yeah. I mean, Megan and I use it as sort of a nightly routine. It's an opportunity for us to connect and chat in a otherwise busy and device-filled life.
Well, I invited myself into it earlier. I don't want to be the third wheel here, so
it takes 6, so we get Joe in there as well.
Okay. I'll go with the sound engineer. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So you've only been in there for what, a few months now?
Yeah, a few months, and the wellness spa is open only really at this stage to journalists we've had in, and a few people who would come by sort of word, like WhatsApp me and come by invitation. The clinic is open, the dental practice is open, and the academy is fully running.
And how many clinical days are you doing now?
So I sort of do concierge. It works out sort of half a day to 1 day a week.
Okay.
Depending. Yeah. I run, for all of our clinical teaching, that now involves live patients. So I'm talking outside that. So I've got live surgeries for the implant course we run and live treatments for the restorative course we run. They're sort of all scheduled in. But for my own personal patients, I just do like a concierge thing where I'll just see 3 or 4 at once and take them on their journey for whatever they need.
And is that more nowadays focused on the whole mouth-body connection, rehabilitation of the dentition as well as the bloods and all of that sort of stuff? Yeah,
I mean, certainly we'll offer bloods as we're trying to offer the full package because we can do that on site now, and with the medical teams we liaise with, not just human people but lots of them, we can offer that full package. But there's lots of people I know who are great people, but they need implants, they need a full mouth rehab, they want to have an aesthetic makeover. And that I still enjoy doing that. I still love doing dentistry. Yeah, it's great fun. That's one thing we touched on earlier on. I think we can be proud. If you give someone their quality of life back, or you take away the emotion of shame with their teeth, and you make them look good. People say vanity is a sin. I disagree. Shame is an awful feeling. Somebody's saying I stifle my smile for a wedding, or so many people come and say I hate my smile. It's like, so how long are you going to live with that? Why? You don't need to. Like, people like you and I, or all of our amazing colleagues can help them. And I think we can be really, really proud of that. And actually, if you look at, there's a study I can share with you that measures stress hormones, particularly cortisol. And you can do cortisol risk, and you give someone an aesthetic makeover, and then you measure the cortisol every week for months afterwards, and it's significantly lower. So you tell me you're not making people healthier. Yeah. Be proud. Yeah. Dentists should be proud. I think. Absolutely. Yeah. What a gift that we have to be able to have such a vast impact on people's lives. Yeah. Obviously, I live a split life between running parlour and being a dentist and running the practice. And although I love the business side of things and building brands and that sort of thing, and I've had some amazing moments, nothing quite gives you personally the same satisfaction as giving someone pure tear-wrenching joy. I mean, where else do you get the opportunity to do that in your life? Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of that is, and correct me if you disagree, I think a lot of that is relief for them. Like, they've been suffering, and you remove relief, and it's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And, often... I've never thought about that before. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. Like, they've got the positive emotion. But do you remember when exams would finish and you get your results? It wasn't happiness. That was relief from stress. It's like, oh my God, this worry that I'm going to get a pass-fail viva or whatever those things were. Yeah. It's like the day I found out that I got into King's to do dentistry. I cried that day, and I think that was probably relief. Yeah. It's like, okay, I can relax now. I'm safe. Yeah, because I think a lot of what we do is relief from suffering, and it is, but it feels like joy, but actually joy is you doing colouring in with one of your kids. Actually, a lot of it is just I'm carrying the burden. I don't want, and now it's off. And I hate my smile, but now I don't have to hate it anymore. It's that I love that. Yeah, that's a really interesting reframe. I think it's really interesting, Richard, that you are a restorative consultant, and yet a lot of your thoughts, some people, I don't personally because I align with pretty much all of them, but some people would view them as being quite lateral or against the norm, I guess is the best way to describe it. Yeah, good.
Indeed, why would you want to be normal, as I always say to my wife? But do you come up against much hostility from those people that are more dogmatic in the traditional way of doing things or approaching things? Because I certainly have done.
Oh, yes.
You do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, openly at times.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember once, it's a silly example, Simon, but there were a bunch of consultants presenting at an event, and I was given the worst slot, 20 minutes before lunch in a hot room, and it was supposed to be a masterclass on X, Y, and Z. And in 20 minutes, what can you actually deliver? Mm-hmm. So I made it fairly humorous, got everyone's energy up, and delivered one or two key messages, but based around quite a lot of humor. And sitting around lunch, I just heard some people, because so this is a level of emotional intelligence, and I'll go through this in some detail if you don't mind. The rule one of emotional intelligence is even Joe over there and you and I are wearing a mask. Okay, it's called a persona, and it's on all the time. Yours might be off when you're with your kids or with Megan or someone like that. And that's when you're truly, honestly, authentically you. But at work, it's on. I'll prove it to you. You're exhausted. You want to go home. Your day is done. The patient walks in for their implant, and they look and go, I'm really nervous. And you go, don't worry, everything's fine. And the mask is on, and it's that I've still got all the energy in the world to look after you, but actually what you want to do is go home and go to sleep or get in your sauna or whatever. But we put the mask on. Some people don't even know and won't even admit they're wearing a mask. So when I'm sitting there and I've given this fairly humorous 20-minute talk, I can hear someone over here intentionally, famous, well-known consultant saying, what a waste of everyone's time. This isn't meant to be a comedy show. This is meant to be a high-level meeting. All that person is saying is their mask is, you shouldn't have done what you've done. I don't like the fact that everyone really enjoyed your lecture, but I won't allow myself to feel envy, because envy comes from a place of lack. And because I feel envy and it comes from a place of lack, I'll get on the front foot and attack. That's what's happening. That's all that's happening there. And I can see that a mile off. If I've got one superpower, I can see through people's masks. And so I've had that my whole career. And, Aspire does quite well. We're very lucky. We're blessed. But even that has put a target on our head. People try and knock you and cause problems and sabotage it, and they don't know they're doing it from a place of venom and envy, but they are. And I've never thrown a punch back. We've never thrown a punch back, and we never will. I've just got too much to do, too many good things to do, too much exciting stuff happening. So we don't do that. But yeah,
does it impact you? Do you feel it internally?
Not anymore.
Not at all.
No. Look, if somebody wants to think about me, and I'm in their head, okay, mate, get on with it. I'm not really interested, to be honest. We are really busy at the moment, and we're doing some really, really good things. So no, not so much. I mean, if somebody lands an attack, God forbid you come after someone I care about, then you're in real trouble. Mm-hmm. And so if you try and affect my children or something like that, or Raheel, then yeah, that things are we're gonna have a problem. But no, it doesn't really affect me. I can see where people are coming from. I think there's enough room for us all. I really do. I think there's enough room for us all. I think, I don't know if you spend much time in the US, but they're much better at celebrating our successes, each other's successes, culturally. Like if someone's more successful, they say, wow, this guy. What I found, Simon, more than anything else, if somebody's really successful, I've found if I go up to them, I say, God, you've just done so well. You've done so well with Parlour. Like this, like you're making a tablet toothpaste. And I say, could you explain to me how you did it? Is there anything I can learn? Everyone's cool about it. Mm-hmm. No one's like, oh, don't tell him. Everyone's cool about it. Everyone will tell you. And they say, yeah, of course I'll tell you. I'd be love to share the story. See if you could do something similar for, in your area. Yeah. I find people are giving and sharing and willing
Abundance
to help.
Mentality.
Rather than, you've done well. How can I take that off you?
Or what have you taken off me?
Yeah.
To do well.
Yeah. Fundamentally, you see someone with an incredible car, and you can think, I wonder if I could have one like that guy. Or do you think he shouldn't have that? I want him to not have it. I want him to have a crappy one like me.
Ideally, you should think that's a metaphysical want, and therefore I shouldn't want it
That's
at all.
exactly what you should want. René Girard is all over us. Yeah, you should. It's exactly right. Exactly right. But yeah, so I've had that. You've had it as well, then, clearly.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been fairly in the public eye since qualifying, really. And so, although I've always tried to lead with humility, people's perception of me is not of that oftentimes. And
when was it peak? Was it Dragon's Den?
No, it's probably pre then. I think it was probably around between 2017, 2018, that sort of time period.
Okay.
It's been less to do about parlour, although there has been some kickback on that. It was more to do with just a young dentist having any opinions on new ways in which dentistry could be done.
Okay.
Is my perception of their concern.
Is that so? Do you think because you were an early adopter to social media and stuff like that,
and digital dentistry as well? I mean, I was using CEREC from sort of first year out of uni, so I was lecturing on that from pretty much straight away, just in a very, this is an intro to CEREC type lecture. And I think the whole concept of a young dentist at that time doing any lecturing was very foreign to the incumbent individuals doing lecturing.
Imagine being an adult and like a bit older than that, and Mozart turns up and says, "I've written a symphony when I was 13." And you're going, "Well, you're too young."
Yeah, exactly.
You're not allowed to.
Yeah.
What a stupid mindset.
But I mean, at that stage of my career, I was much more susceptible to the opinions of others.
Yeah.
I think especially before you're a parent, you care a lot more about those sort of things.
Yeah.
I still care about them now. I mean, it still impacts me.
Does it?
Yeah, I think I've got fairly thin skin given how much I push myself out of my comfort zone and into the limelight quite regularly.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm currently recording a podcast.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's putting yourself into challenging situations. I know that mental resilience is something that needs to be formed and shaped, and it can only be done so in the battlefield and in the arena, as Roosevelt would say.
So so on that, those people, it's not them attacking you, it's their mask. So the 4 rules of social interaction: everyone's wearing a mask. Everyone is wearing a mask. 2, everyone's pretending to not wear a mask. 3, everyone, this is that Solzhenitsyn thing, the darkness, everyone, including me, feels shame or is insecure about something about themselves on a daily basis. And 4, that insecurity is not your fault. It's no one's fault. It's where we come from. But these are the first 4 rules we teach in all the psychology teaching we do. But if you have someone attack you, the mask is doing 2 things. It's saying, this is what I want you to notice about me. Here, this is me. Notice this. Notice that. It's also saying, don't notice what's behind it. And that's where those attacks come from. So if someone sees you doing that, doing whatever you did 2017, 18, and you're out there lecturing and putting it out there and saying, look, here's some ideas, you might want to take them and you might not, and someone attacks you for it, that is them saying, I'm feeling something behind this mask I don't like. And it's that he's taller, prettier, more articulate, and clearly possibly going to be on a trajectory for more success than me. That's envy. I don't know if I'll notice that. Slap this thing on, attack. That's what that is. It's where it all comes from.
Hang on.
And as soon as you see that, as soon as I'm very lucky, some of the psychologists I get to work with, you see it, you just think, wow. And it makes you far less susceptible to any injury from it. Because you can see it's coming from a place of, the big word is fear.
Yeah.
You're scared. And I can smell your fear.
That's it. I mean, you've got such a broad base of knowledge, Richard, across so many different topics. Do you have a your own personal educational pathway ongoing? How do you curate the inbound information that you receive?
Well, it combines a lot of what you and I talk about. So you do have to stay up to date with dentistry, of course, and I'm the registered man in the practice, so I'm CQC all the way. But I think there are 2 infinite universes, Simon, and one is the outside universe, and that's the stars and the cosmos and the bees and the burrs and what does sauna do to your heat shock proteins and physiology and art and all of that. But then there is the
interesting that you combine physiology and art. That's
art is
physiology is art.
Well, So if you look at a piece of art from 400 years ago, and it has a soldier going off to battle who's not going to survive, and he's taking his last kiss. There's a piece of art called The Kiss. You are feeling the emotion that the artist felt when he conceptualized, or she conceptualized, the art. And he's long dead, and you get to feel his emotion now. You tell me that doesn't change your physiology. I just find it beautiful. But a sunrise is art, you know, a baby smile is art. It's all that appreciation of beauty. But the other infinite universe is the human mind. And I was very, very lucky in that I was lecturing at the BDA in Birmingham, and there was I was asked to talk by the BDA on a slightly different subject, a bit lateral. And I'd been at the cloisters in Gloucester Cathedral. And if you get there in the mornings, where a lot of Harry Potter was shot, there's a golden sunlight comes through these cloisters, through stained glass windows. And everybody, this is art, walks through there and stops. And you can literally see the back of their hair coming alive. And they're like, feeling in there. There is a feeling. And that is light causing emotion. Now, you do aesthetic work. Sorry, Joe. You do aesthetic work. You hand the patient a mirror. Light hits the teeth, just photons, hits the mirror, goes through this thing, goes through their eye. And it's that moment where they go, yes, this is unbelievable. And they cry and they're hit. Light is emotion. And I gave a talk on light being emotion and how it all ties in, just because it fascinates me. And it does change your physiology. Like 8 billion people find sunrise beautiful. It's not by chance. It can't be like randomization. And, you know, we all find it lovely, and flowers and, you know, as I say, a baby smile. And there's a reason, and it is physiology. But because light is emotion, and you and I get to control that, I gave the lecture, and there was a lady in the audience, and she said, you need to come study with me. And she's a professor of psychology. And so I'm a postgrad scholar in psychology. I'm not a formal student, but I've been studying it now for years. I'll never have any sort of useful outcome or degree, but I get to be what they call a contributing scholar through a number of American universities in psychology. And I will study that until my last breath. And it's added a lot of what we can bring to our teaching and to patient care. If you look at the 6 pillars of health, you know, you've got nutrition, sleep, and exercise. You've got medications and supplements. I'm very big on circadian biology, but number 6 that you could put in this position, not in 6th place, is emotional well-being. And that is psychology. And I would say if that one gets to a 0 ever, that's the last day of your life. So I'm very, very into all of those. And emotional well-being does feed into everything else as well. And I find it fascinating. I find the human mind fascinating. I think humans are amazing. I think we're freaking amazing.
I love your passion for humanity.
Well, but you know, I bet you've got it too. So did you watch the Olympics? Yeah, and what sport do you love the most in the Olympics?
Oh, I mean, I love all of it, to be honest.
There you go. So you love human excellence. You're the same as me. And everyone, you know, billions of people watch football, and you stand there cheering your champions and the heroes. And that's just sporting endeavor. But it's their minds that got them there. Yeah, they need the physical attributes, but it was their mind and their perseverance to deter. I love human excellence. And whether that's Mozart or Plato or whomever, I think we can celebrate human excellence.
100%. It's interesting. Megan and I were talking about this the other day. How I think the world is quite anti-human at the moment. Though I feel like social media and just sort of culturally, it seems like the human is demonized. The impact of the human on the planet, which obviously is detrimental in many ways. But it's almost like we're trying to will ourselves into extinction.
Yes. I agree.
It goes.
Do you think that's intentional? That's the big question, Dr. Chard.
Do I feel like
do you think that propaganda
is being
orchestrated or by chance?
So let's think about the potential rationale behind wanting to eradicate humanity. Well, there's going to be too many mouths to feed with a lack of jobs for them to do when AI comes in and takes over with robotics. Very few individuals will have the control over those structures. And so I guess a large population would be of concern to the powers that be in terms of
if they're
many people
unemployed
can
and-
uprise against
Yeah.
the individuals. So potentially,
Yeah, yeah. It's very H.G. Wells.
It's
It
very
is.
who, sorry?
Yeah, H.G. Wells. You know, with the Morlocks and in the Time Machine, it was the groups of people, who's in charge, who's controlling who, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I think you're absolutely right. I completely agree. There is this, at least an element of presence in propaganda, in social media, that is anti-human. I have faith in humans, though. I really do.
Are you familiar with the term Ubuntu?
No.
It's a South African term. Funnily enough, I was watching. I was flying into Cape Town, and I was watching something on Netflix about the basketball coach, I think for the Boston Celtics, and he brought in this concept of Ubuntu into the team that was sort of floundering, and they said that this concept, which basically means I am because we all are, as humanity. They brought it into their team, and it made them cohesive and move forward.
Yeah, amazing.
I'd never heard the term before, and then I landed into the hotel we were staying in, which was the one and only in Cape Town, which is a lovely hotel. Right in front of me, as I walk into the lobby, huge painting with little people, loads of little people making up 5 letters, 5, 6, whatever it is, and it's Ubuntu right in front of me, and I was like, that is insane.
Yeah,
like, I've never
serendipity.
heard this term before.
Crazy.
And then as soon as I get into the hotel, it's right in front
Straight in
of my
front
face.
of
My
you.
kids are playing with it, and it's
Wow.
like mad. But I really liked it as a terminology,
Yeah,
because I think we are trained in the modern world to be very self-focused. And I think the more we can come together as individuals to support each other and realize that we are all, as I say to my kids, we're all made of the same stardust, and we're all part of one living consciousness, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, social cohesion and abundant concepts for human flourishing. Those two together is how we get through any challenge, without any doubt.
Human flourishing is a great term. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Do you know? And what you mentioned there, you asked earlier on about Plato's cave, and you read the story. That is about control. You know, that is about using education and opportunity for there were the people in the cave, just in case any of your listeners haven't heard it, there are people in a cave whose whole knowledge base is shadows on a wall. And the shadows are being formed by puppeteers using fire in their hands to control the people in the cave. And one of the people being controlled escapes out of the cave into the real world. And he sees the sky and trees and people and civilizations. And when he goes back in to tell his colleagues that this is all out there, they all think he's mad. So maybe that's what happened to you in 2017, 18 as well. They're like, he's mad, he can't do this. But you know, it's the story that if you're free to become freely educated, that the whole world is at your beck and call.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the big philosophies behind this podcast is strong opinions loosely held, and so I think
I like that.
That's something that I hold very dear to my heart in terms of how strongly I hold on to dogma or pre-existing conceptions.
But that's hard to shake people off, Simon, isn't it? Because, you know, I agree with you. I try and live by that. But if a belief someone has makes them feel safe, it's very hard to then make them shed that belief, because it feels like they'll feel like you're attacking them. You know, it can feel like an existential risk almost if somebody's absolutely entrenched in a belief structure. And human brains are prediction machines, and the only thing it's trying to predict is, will I live? Will I survive? And up until that point, it's been successful. And you're trying to take that successful history, CV, away from it. People don't like that at all. They're very, very resistant to it. Yeah. That's why people do get embedded in their dogma, I think.
Especially in our profession, and especially in our country.
I think, yeah, definitely here, definitely. But I think that's what self-awareness is. That's where we go back. Like, why do I believe what I believe? Is it because I was told to, and I've just become this predictable echo chamber advocate of what I was told, indoctrinated with? Can I actually challenge my own beliefs? Yeah. That's a very, very brave thing to do.
Well, I think the thing that drives me is I'm just so excited by innovation and change. And so it forces me to learn about all these new things, because I'm just inherently curious about it, which then it's an infinite game where you keep on getting pushed forward and forward and forward. Obviously, sometimes you're then left at the bleeding edge and something doesn't actually come to fruition, and you've got to pull back and go back in a different direction. But
because in 100 years, when I have a slide at Aspire on day one, I say in 100 years, everything you're hearing will be wrong. It's just a matter of time. Maybe one of you in the audience is going to say, well, this is completely wrong. Look at what I've done. But you should be grateful for that.
I always come back to a quote from Phoebe in Friends that said the best scientists in the world at one point thought the world was flat.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's something that it goes around in my head all the time because, we know so little in reality. We know only as much as our small brains can process. We don't know where the end of the universe is. As far as I'm aware.
No, we definitely don't know that, and it's actually that very question. If anyone's feeling important, look at how many systems there are and stars there are in our own galaxy, then how many galaxies there are in our observable universe. Sit down and have a cup of tea.
Cosmic insignificance.
Yeah, we are nothing. We're really nothing.
Which is actually makes you feel quite good in many ways about the small worries that you have.
I think it's that paradox, isn't it? In that your world is everything. So, I know how much you love your children, and they are everything. And at the same time, we are nothing. It is that paradox between the two. So again, that's similar to me as, strong ideas loosely held. It's just run with it, do the best you can. But
the great questions in life can't be answered. I think that's the reality of the situation.
No.
Anyway, to bring this into land, because I think we could chat all day about the various topics of life.
It's great talking to you about it.
Yeah, same. But what are your views on dentistry in the next 5 years? What are you excited about?
So I do think the digital innovations, the AI innovations for diagnostics, for planning, for eliminating clinical error. I guess the worst case scenario, there is a chance that makes us all redundant and human skill is eliminated, or the need for it. I think that's a long, long way off. But I think those things are fabulous. I think they're going to arrive at a rate of knots. ChatGPT is now dead in the water compared to better AIs. Claude is the way for now. Now,
indeed.
But that is a ferocious race that someone else is running, and we get to reap the rewards of it. So I think it's good. I think humans will always need humans. I think our profession is very safe. I think because humans need humans, your ability to connect, understand, empathize, communicate, explain, and spend time with other humans in a way that encourages flourishing is beginning to become ever more important. So the advice I give my children a few years older than yours is pick a career that relies on human-to-human connection. And I don't mind what it is, but I'm telling you, as we get more isolated through digital island creation, humans are going to want to connect more. So do that as much as you can. And I think dentistry can do that. I think we'll be at the forefront of that. I think we're very good at that. There's no other specialty that works inside someone that's, it's an orifice, and it's an orifice that gets decorated and is on display and is used for eating and a number, we're the absolute crucible of human to human connection, I think, personally. Yeah,
we'll be there for a while, I think.
We will.
Is there anything you're implementing at the moment that you found to have great value, of sort of new technology or anything like that?
Well, definitely AI. Definitely AI. I think the big thing for me is when we look at teaching, it is, remember, I've seen the evolution of digital scanners from some clicking monstrosity. You had to, it was like backing a car in someone's mouth, and it would grind to a halt, to now something you can just wave around, literally like something in Hogwarts, and it scans and corrects all your errors. So I love those innovations. It's Kevin. I'm speaking at Kevin Lewis's memorial this year. And if there's one thing Kevin Lewis, great dentist, a lot of your viewers, I hope know, said is write your notes. And that's just become so easy to do. And
you don't have to do it anymore.
No, you just speak and it pulls it all out. Yeah, it's fabulous. So things like that I think are good.
What do you use for that? Do you use Kuroku or?
So actually we're using a couple of different systems. So I tend to transcribe everything and take a transcript and feed it into different systems. And there's one of our delegates who's an AI nerd at the moment who is developing his own system, which seems to be the best.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. What do you use?
I have Applaud.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I've not really. I've got Applaud, but I rarely use it. So I'm at the moment looking at bringing Diagnocat in for AI radiographical interpretation because they're the only company that I believe has CBCT.
I think it's right.
overlay, which is really cool. But they have a transcriber built into that, so I'm hoping that when I install that in the clinic, that will then sit across all of the surgeries.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. So I'm excited for the future. I just hope people remember to connect with each other.
Yes,
it's the main thing.
Well, I always come back to the studies that they looked at, where they were looking at self-reported feelings of loneliness having an impact on well-being. And unfortunately, the 18 to 25-year-olds, over 65% of them said that their loneliness was having an impact on their well-being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas the 65 plus, less than 20% of them would report the same thing.
And it's that self-perception.
You'd expect it to be inverted, wouldn't you?
You would. And that loneliness is the equivalent in all-cause mortality of smoking 10 to 15 cigarettes a day. A similar level of inflammatory markers and stress hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah, people aren't, they're not even, I'll tell you something, I don't know how much longer we've got left, but every primate on Earth, including gibbons and gorillas and humans, comforts their children, their infants, in the same place and at the same speed.
Really?
Yeah, it's 3 centimeters a second on the forearms and the back of the head. And you can watch any primate species on Earth do that. And
that's great stuff.
We need it.
Yeah.
We need it. You know, if one of your kids is upset, Megan will comfort them in the same way that every other female mother has done that to her child since the dawn of time. And every other, I just think it's stunning.
That is art.
Yeah, it is art. It is art, and it's physiology, literally.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, Richard, thank you so much for the chat. I'd like to
pleasure.
finish all of our talks with just two things. That is a surprise. I let you know these in advance. But what do you think is going to be a fad in the next 10 years in dentistry, and what do you think is the future for the next 10 years in dentistry?
Goodness me, a fad. I reckon a fad will be. I think we get swamped with gimmicks. And so there will be a fad of some aligner system, some new plastic composite that is got some fluoride releasing gibber in it. I think sales will get bigger. I think that the next 10 years, if I say fad and conceptualize that as a bad thing, it's going to be relying on people taking the easy path and selling things along that. And I think that's happening more and more all the time. So people saying, don't think, just buy. And that is growing as we speak. The future of dentistry, I have faith in humans. I think we have survived starvations and wars and famines and massacres and gulags, but I have faith in us. And I think we are, I think actually in some of the pre-joining pack, you talked about adaptation, humans' ability to adapt. And I think we are unbelievably adaptive. And I think if there's a meteor hit, we would adapt. And I don't want a nuclear war, but I think we'd adapt. And we will find a way. And it might get tough at times. None of those things will happen, I hope. But we will adapt. We adapted to COVID, and I think we'll adapt to it all.
Yeah.
It's a new way of being, new way of living, but we can do it. Have faith. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
That's it. We're certainly going to have to adapt faster than ever with the rapid innovation of technology.
We are. Yeah. It's quicker than you think. Yeah. Yeah. It used to be doubling technology every 2 years, and then it went to 18 months. Yeah. And now I think it's every 17 weeks.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So
it's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah. You're obsolete after 3 months of release.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Richard.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the hosting. Thank you for the invite. I'm very flattered. It's been fun being here.
So thanks for making it all the way to the end, guys. I hope this episode really gave you a lot of value. If you did enjoy it, then please do share it with your colleagues and hit the subscribe button and like below to help us get bigger guests, bigger value, and really help build this community.